I don't think we ever did a scene together in that when I wasn't thinking, I'm acting with Alison Steadman. Have you frozen or are you just happy? You've frozen. Have you or are you? I can't tell. You're very still there. Are you holding that, Alison? If you can hear me, you see you appear to have you have frozen. There's no way you could hold that expression. Although you are an incredible actor, so... Oh, you've gone. Is that enough for an interview? I don't think it is it? Today, my guest, she gets called a national treasure. I would describe her as that, someone I was thrilled to work with. Please welcome Alison Steadman. Yay!
Am I looking a bit shady?
No, what I would say, Alison, and don't take it the wrong way, you could be more central in your frame.
Oh, could I?
I don't mean you as a person. I'm not speaking, psychologically.
Pardon? I know, I can see it. Yeah, sorry, I'm getting instructions from a certain person.
Is that Michael?
Yes.
Hi, Michael.
Hello, Rob.
Hello.
How's that?
It's all right. You've lost the evil clown in the lower right-hand corner of the picture that I noticed earlier.
That's my Mr. Punch I made.
Could you also look more at me? So if you look at there, now you're looking at the lens. That's lovely.
Look at the lens. I'd rather look at you, darling, but
Alison, there will be time. There will be time. I'm just waiting for Michael to be out of the picture. That's all. Now, oh my God, he's still there. How are you?
Good. We're in lovely Dorset. It's really nice. It's peaceful.
Are you enjoying the birds?
Yeah, we've got loads of birds. Sand martins, and we've got swallows, egrets over there. We've got swans with their little ones, heron.
Young swan would be a cygnet.
Oh, sorry. I'll go back on that. We've got swans with their little cygnets.
Is that the name for a young swan? Is that what you call them?
Yes, it is, yes.
Well, I didn't know that. Now, I know that you're a big fan of birds, and I've always liked birds, but I wasn't huge on them until lockdown.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Because you spent a lot of time sitting in the garden, and I really get it now, what people see in birds.
It's wonderful. And when you're learning to identify them and you can actually go, oh, that's a grey wagtail, or, oh, that's a swallow, it's brilliant. It's brilliant.
And let me say something some would find a little controversial. I'm starting to notice personalities with the birds, different behaviour. With one bird, the robin.
Yes. The robins, they're very confident, aren't they? And they're very much, I don't mind, you're not going to hurt me. Have you got the seeds?
Yeah. It's incredible. If you'd said that to me before I'd experienced it, I'd have thought, oh, bless her. Oh, she thinks robins have got personalities. But they totally have. When I see a robin now coming near me in the garden, there's a big part of me thinks that it is a dead relative who has been reincarnated.
Oh, Rob, stop it.
No, because they seem to come up to you as if to say, oh, Rob, it's me. Don't you remember me?
It's Auntie Doris. Come on. Give me some seeds, would you?
The other week, I took my son, Tom, camping for the night in Watlington, and we were sat around our little stove making sausages, and these birds are huge. And I genuinely had a feeling of, blooming heck, because it looked as though if he chose to, because I'm only a little fellow, he could have come down, take me off like that.
Or it certainly would have taken your sausages if you'd moved away from the thing, wouldn't it?
Well, I mean, I was going to make a very down-market joke there about keeping my legs crossed, but I'm not going to. Now, you and I first met when we worked together on a wonderful show called Gavin and Stacey. I have to tell you how excited I was at the thought of working with Alison Steadman. I said that there was never, and I mean this, there was never a scene I did with you where it didn't go through my mind, I'm acting with Alison Steadman.
You're a nutcase. Well, that's very flattering. It was the beginning of the best job. The fun of Gavin and Stacey was when Ruth and James sent me the first episode and I read it and I read my first scene, I just knew I wanted to do it immediately. There was no kind of, oh, well, maybe, you know. And one of the things I remember is the very first time we all met up and Joe Page came over to me and she just said, hiya, I'm Joe, I'm playing Stacey. And I just went, oh my God, you are the best casting ever. She was perfect. And then, you know, my little prince came over and he just went, you know, I'm playing Gavin, you know, and, oh, you are perfect casting. And it was like everybody that was walking in, you were going, you are perfect. There was a magic in the air.
Very, very happy cast, wasn't it? I mean,
everyone had their moment.
I always say about it that, you know, no matter the size of the role, so you'd say Dawn and Pete are sort of not as large roles, or Dave Coach is not as large a role, but each of those could have their own show. They seem to have this incredibly full life. And the quality of the actors that are playing, you know, Julia, Adrian and Steph, you know, there's such strong actors.
The only thing with Julia is that I cannot look at her face. She's got that twinkle in her eye and I start to laugh and it's terrible. I mean, I almost had to be taken away in an ambulance at one point.
Well, Julia's always on the edge of laughing. I did a show called Human Remains with her and all the outtakes that we stuck on the DVD of corpsing, I think about 95% her, because she just does. I think it's part of her sort of creative energy. And I don't know about you, but I felt, you know, before we did the Christmas special, that the show was bigger than ever because I was getting asked about it all the time. Yeah,
well, it kind of never went away.
You know, when we came back on that first day to start shooting, I've read a few of the cast in interviews saying, oh, but I was quite nervous on that first day. I wasn't at all nervous. For me, it was just like, well, it was literally putting on a comfy cardigan, but I mean, it was that literally and metaphorically, you know. I just thought, because it's there in the script, you'd have to mess up on a big scale to get it wrong because it's so well written. How did you feel?
Well, I did feel nervous, I have to say.
Did you really?
I mean, there was a part of me said, yeah, this is going to be fine, of course, and it was great to be back. But I just felt the pressure of thinking, can I get that character back again? Not in the writing, it was there, but can I look like her? You know, my hair was so different. My hair was short. And I thought, oh, you know, I'm fatter, older. I haven't got the right hair.
Alison, you are not fatter. You are not older. I do not want to hear that.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Rob.
You know, if Bryn were here now, he would say, the thing is, Pam, to me, you've always had a rather exotic quality about you. I suppose it's coming from Essex and being married to Mick, who has a touch of the Richard Gere about him, doesn't he?
Yeah. Oh, God.
If you had to come up with a list of the top 5 Alison Steadman performances, right, in your mind, in how you rate them, just give me the top 5. They don't have to go first, second, third. Just what you think is the best of Alison Steadman.
Oh, well, I guess Candice Marie in Nuts in May, which I love doing that. I love playing that part. And Beverly in Abigail's Party. She was an absolute monster.
But those two roles are fascinating because they're both so influential. You must be aware of the influence that those performances had on actors and actresses going forward.
Well, not totally, but I'm very proud of those parts, if I look back. And of course, because the years have gone on, if I do see them now or see a scene from it, it's like watching somebody else, which is quite nice because you can sit back and just watch it rather than, because I'm so critical of myself. You know, I criticize in my head all the time. why am I wearing that dress? I love improvising.
Yeah.
And once I get into a character, I'm really happy when I'm improvising.
It took me a while to get used to James and Ruth not wanting any improvisation. You know, it was like the script. And I came into that show sort of, and really the most successful things I'd done had all involved improvisation. And I rather grandly thought, oh, well, they're going to love a bit of my improvisation here, aren't they? They're going to come up and say, thanks, Rob, for adding to our script. But nothing could have been further from the truth.
Actually, when we were rehearsing the Christmas special, there was a couple of times when they kind of put their heads together and said, I wonder if, well, you know, it should be when he says that, he should say that. And, you know, and maybe they tweak a little bit. But then that was set.
Yes.
And that was a couple of weeks before we filmed.
Yeah.
And so and that's where I think their talent lies, is that they know what they're doing.
It was strange for me, though, because I've known Ruth since I was at school. So it was quite strange to just offer up maybe just 3 words at the end of something, and to have your old school friend say, no, I'm sorry, Rob, you can't. And someone who's younger than me as well. So it did, I must admit, that there was that was an adjustment I had to make. I slightly was going, and I didn't know, well, of course, they wrote it. They're in charge. And then, of course, and I realised how good it was, so you go with it. So anyway, back to your 5 best performances. So you've said Nuts in May, you've said Abigail's Party. What else?
Well, I did a part, again, quite a few years ago, in a Play for Today for BBC with director called Les Blair. And again, it was, well, I just realised this, it was based on improvisation. And it was about a newspaper. This play was called News Hounds. And I was given the part of a journalist.
Yeah.
And she was called Jackie Johns. And she wrote for a paper. It was like the Daily Mail.
Yeah.
And she was one of those that we've all experienced. The journalist that goes, oh, hello, Alison, how are you today? And then they do this really nice interview. And just at the end of it, they say, so how's your love life? You know, and you go, oh, please stop this, you know. And she was that woman.
Yeah.
And so it was great to be able to do that.
You worked with somebody that I absolutely worshipped when I was growing up and wanting to be in comedy, but I never met, Dudley Moore.
Every time I think of him, I just want to cry. He was so lovely, and he was just a very talented and very sweet man.
No, I was going to say, do you have favourites of the comic performers that you've worked with? But that's probably unfair. But do you?
I don't know if I have favourites.
No, it's an unfair question. Let me instead show you. When I knew I was going to have you here, I've got this photo on my wall. Do you remember this?
Oh yes, I can see it.
Now that was when we were filming the wedding fair scene from the first series. Was that in the first series? Yeah. And we were staying at the Vale Hotel, and the Welsh rugby team were there as well. Now look at the faces of all the men. So there's Matt, me, James, and Larry, right? Look at our faces, and then look at the faces of the women. There is a discernible difference.
Well, I'll tell you something. As I'm looking at that picture, something I remember. The rugby player who's sitting in front of me, but he was extremely handsome. And they had been, I was going to say rehearsing then. They'd been practicing whatever they do. And then they were asked to come and have a picture taken. So he'd obviously come off the thing for all of them. They'd had a shower, come in. And he sat down in front of me for the picture, and I suppose it's a bit rude, really, but I put my hands on his shoulders, and I could feel the sort of heat coming from his body and that strength. You know, the rugby players, how strong they are. And I could remember standing there thinking, oh my God.
Yeah, but I know, but I think you can see that. Look at your face, Ruth. Your face and Ruth's face in particular. Mel and Joe are just, well, actually, yeah. But look at your face and Ruth's face. There's no doubt what is on your mind.
Oh, shut up. I remember two of the very big guys picking Jo up because Jo was so tiny and light, and they sort of just picked her up, and I've got a picture somewhere of Jo kind of falling about laughing, and yeah, no, that was so exciting.
Well, listen, thank you so much for doing this. Very kind of you, and I hope I see you soon, and I hope that when I do see you, we're able to not just touch shoulders, you know, maybe a hug. You know what I do? I don't touch shoulders. I go up to someone I know and I hug myself while smiling and looking at them. So you should try this. You feel as if you're giving them a hug. Because Bryn and Pam say goodbye to each other now as if they've been doing a Zoom. I'm putting you on the spot, but it's not a problem. Well, Pam, I can't believe I've got to grips with this Zoom. I can't wait to tell Smithy.
Christ, it's been so lovely talking to you, Uncle Bryn. Take care of yourself, darling. All right, and I hope to see you soon.
I think, if nothing else, Pam, what we realise now is just how good the writing of James and Ruth really is. Thanks for doing this. Bye-bye.
Bye, Rob.